I woke up from my sleep and suddenly heard air raid sirens blaring outside. I had just stepped out to check what was happening when I saw an out-of-control military helicopter flying right over my head before crashing into a building nearby. The scene in front of me left me completely stunned. Screams from the crowd below echoed up to me. Looking down, I could see everyone running for their lives. That's when I spotted my girlfriend standing in the crowd. I was about to call out to her, but then I watched in horror as she tackled an elderly man to the ground and started viciously biting him. I had no idea what was happening, so I could only run back inside my apartment. Right then, a man burst through my door. He said he was my neighbor from next door, and that his roommate had suddenly gone crazy. He begged me to let him hide out in my place for a while. Before I could even process what was happening, he had already made his way to the bathroom. I noticed what looked like bite marks on his neck, which immediately set off alarm bells in my head. I quickly grabbed a knife to defend myself. Just then, the TV suddenly started broadcasting an emergency news report. It said that a terrifying zombie virus had broken out, turning infected people into violent, bloodthirsty creatures. Anyone who got bitten would also become infected. At that exact moment, my neighbor came out of the bathroom and saw the news on TV. He quickly insisted that he was fine, but the next second his eyes started turning bloodshot and he began showing signs of mutation. I held up the knife and told him to get out immediately. My neighbor, who still had some consciousness left, eventually walked out of my apartment. I rushed to lock the door behind him and immediately heard horrific screams coming from the hallway. I carefully peered through the peephole and saw my neighbor being torn apart and devoured by several zombies. The sight was so terrifying that I covered my mouth and collapsed to the floor. I tried calling my parents to check on them, but couldn't get through no matter how many times I tried. I couldn't believe everything that had happened today, and could only try to numb myself with alcohol. Fortunately, my dad soon sent me a message saying they were temporarily safe, and telling me not to leave the apartment no matter what. I had to stay alive. I understood that now. I could only rely on myself. I pushed the refrigerator against the front door to prevent zombies from breaking in. I also moved my bed into the living room so I could keep an eye on the door at all times. I covered all the windows with paper to prevent the zombies outside from spotting me.
From that day forward, I marked each passing day on the mirror to remind myself that I had to survive. One night, I suddenly heard strange noises coming from the bathroom. I immediately had a bad feeling about it. I grabbed a baseball bat and went to investigate, only to discover that a zombie had crawled down through the ventilation system. I was so terrified that I quickly hid. The zombie limped around the living room, but fortunately it didn't notice me. Taking advantage of this opportunity, I snuck up from behind and attacked.